Okay, chefs, lift the cloche on Japanese Gadget
That was
number
quick.
1.
Straight in, James. Lift away.
Oh, a lovely wooden box.
So today we have scoured Japan for their finest Japanese kitchen gadgets. We're going to put them in front of 2 chefs to review, test and provide us our thoughts on the gadgets themselves.
Number 1, a beautiful box. Should we lift the lid or slide the drawer first?
Well, let's lift the lid. Hey!
Mind your fingers. Oh, it's basically a box grater.
Oh, okay, so yeah. Got it. I feel like already, because it's Japanese gadgets, I have a bias towards them all being good.
I have that same bias.
So just, what if, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
What do you think it is and what do you think it's used for?
A mandolin-style slicing device.
But it has to be, I think, for something very dry.
Oh, do you think it's got a
Dried
really...
fish.
I think it's a really specific
What's
ingredient?
the dancing fish that goes on top of okonomiyaki that's so fine that it dances?
Bonito flakes?
Yeah.
Chefs, this is a bonito shaver.
How did you do that?
Because this bit inside is porous, so it wouldn't be something
Wow,
wet.
that is, I'll give you that. That's impressive. That is impressive. Also, in my head, I didn't have in mind that, of course, this would be a single-use, very specific thing for one ingredient. Because of course it is.
Hold that thought for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
This handmade Japanese katsuobushi shaving box is crafted for effortlessly slicing bonito. Enhance your culinary experience with this traditional tool, expertly designed to bring out the best taste and aroma in your katsuobushi. Bonito, part of the tuna family. We're familiar in its dried flake form.
And it's so fine that it has to be, it almost floats in the warmth of the air, and therefore the heat of the food makes it almost dance, but it comes in a big stick block and you can grate it to order, slice it to order.
Catch.
I did.
And there it is.
Ow!
It's hard,
It's like
you
a
didn't touch
freaking
that.
brick!
Wait,
You
why did
threw
you-
a brick at me?
Why'd you punch it?
Yeah, but don't worry, because this is razor sharp and razor thin.
I had no idea this is what it looked like before it became flakes. I've never seen this.
That is bonito belly. It's called a honkarabushi block, which is categorized as a high-grade katsuobushi. It's fermented through sun drying and mold growing processes. So you need to do this at a 40 to 45 degree angle.
Wow.
Look at that.
So previously on the channel, we've always used pre-shaved bonito flakes. Bonito comes in a variety of different grades or applications. What this gadget is going to do is take that bonito belly that's been dried, smoked and molded and turn it into the most amazing seasoning dust.
So I reckon it will take a bit of going, but once it's going, it's going. Yeah, there we go. Sounds good. Tiny, tiny pieces coming off.
There's a traditional saying that katsuobushi should not be shaved until seeing the customer's face. So this emphasizes
so
the
it should be
benefits of shaving it freshly.
Should we have a look?
Do the honours.
Fish dust.
Oh, it is dust.
Delicious though.
Smells incredible on this side of the room.
So there are different types of katsuobushi. The type that you'll be making is crushed. So hence why you're getting all that amazing flavor, but in almost like a crystally powder because of the way that your bonito has been prepared. So it's almost on the inside, it's almost like a resin.
Yeah, it's like
isn't it?
brittle,
It's
yeah.
almost resiny. We want you to do this because it will make a difference to the gadget and the dish that we make at the end of the video.
What's fascinating is as we started to use it, the outside, our hands smell of katsuobushi. It's amazing, the kind of smoky, umami, salty seasoning that's fishy. But there are these different flecks. So the ones that have got a lot more of the dark colour versus ones that got a lot more of the pink colour, you can, I guess, even out of one chunk, get different nuance.
Would this be the fat?
I guess so.
So maybe when it rehydrates, it'll kind of
A different flavour, a different...
have a different flavour, yeah.
You've essentially made smoked umami powder.
Yeah, and it is sharding into brittle, almost like a sheet of caramel would.
Here are some pre-packaged bonito flakes.
Yeah, they're the ones we're familiar with. It's so different, both in I don't know, maybe in its smoking, maybe in its aging, definitely in its drying. But look at the difference in colour between the stuff that will give you those long strips versus the brittle.
Stupid question, but what does it taste like?
Not very fishy. at all, I would say.
It's actually not a very nice eating experience because it's so dry. I imagine that's then used in application in places and hydrated, whereas this you can eat on its own and it melts in the mouth. And in terms of preservation, you know, you can walk around with fish in your pocket.
It's a cool thing to learn about, yeah. Like, I've never known where these come or thought about where this kind of thing comes from.
How much?
Not including the price of the fish, just the box, I reckon it's probably something like £49.
I'll go 40.
Ebbers, it's 9,446 yen. £49.20.
Whoa. That's
Yeah,
so
I mean-
specific as well.
You said handmade, and it's beautifully done. Like, the actual carpentry on it is amazing, and then you've just got one very sharp blade that's set in place. I like the artistry and the mastery of it.
Chefs, lift the cloche.
It's got a button and an LED.
It kind of looks like a bottle.
It flashes. It's a bottle top, and the bottom looks like a can top.
Surely something to do with a drink.
Is this so that you can pour cans like a bottle? I don't know why you'd want to, but
This is the Kunoawa Silky Froth Beer Server. In the UK, we like to have a small head on our beer, but in Japan, some sources say that the ratio should be 3 to 7 head to beer. So this is to achieve the head on a beer that the Japanese consider to be optimal.
So I'm assuming we open this.
hang on.
So
Let's
what,
do instructions
what?
first.
Yes.
Because
Apologies.
I worry about...
I'm too excited.
I'll tell you how to use it. So pop that back on, Ebbers. Pull the middle of the top out. Okay. Now, the plastic ring at the bottom should fit around the can. So unscrew it, you put that round the can,
Oh, I see.
so that sits on top.
One size fits all.
One size fits all, yeah. Then you open that.
That's right. Now you screw onto the top of the attachment and you pour the can through the top into the glass until you want to start foaming for your head, which is when you press the button and then it starts frothing the beer.
But we're going to get...
You're just going to get that anyway.
And now you're pressing the button. When do you want?
Do you know, this is already more than 3/7.
Well, that's not about 30%, right? So...
This is suggesting that the glass
Do I
is
want to
upright.
wait? I want to wait for it to...
For the first time ever, I found a Japanese gadget that makes things more confusing.
I wasn't expecting this to be a difficult one.
I think if you just keep pouring without the gadget, you're
It's
going to
gonna
end up with
work.
3 to 7.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm so
That's
confused.
what I'm saying.
Okay, so you're not pressing. Commit and don't.
I'm pressing the button now. I mean, that absolutely works.
It gives
Can see
you a
that?
lot silkier head, doesn't it?
But that's
Obviously-
not 3 to 7. That's 50-50.
If I poured it myself, if you want me to do it, I will do it.
Yeah.
If I poured it myself, I could literally just pour the whole thing out and get the right ratio.
So
If
what's the
I'm-
gadget doing?
It's aerating to get a silkier foam than if you just chucked it in and
Is it?
chugged it. Well, that's what it's claiming.
Yeah, pass me a can and a glass, because I don't think you need the gadget. If you want 3 to 7, you pour appropriately.
I agree. You've backed yourself hard. Be careful. This has to go perfectly, otherwise we're going to look silly. This is looking good.
Why do you need the
I would say
gadget?
that's
I think the ratio
That is
of
good.
head to beer that you want is a personal preference. Different nations do it different ways. I don't think you need a gadget to deliver that.
I think the one using the gadget looks silkier. It's got more of a pearlescent shimmer.
I think it is. I think it's very dense.
It's holding better.
It's dense.
We both poured a 3 to 7 pint. We were aiming for a longer head.
But we have discovered that the gadget works.
What? We can reverse. What I said was pour in the beer, and then when it's at the right point, press the button and it will froth the head. And
You did say
then
that.
here was going to be a test for you to do it by eye, and then we're going to compare the two heads. The one that was pressed with the button and the one that wasn't.
I think what we thought was going to happen is we compare the ratio, and they would.
The 3 to 7 was such a conversation.
But we
that's
can
what were
we
leaning
can
in.
certainly agree that this head is denser and is staying longer. But I think in hindsight, having tested the gadge, I would have poured as Ebbers did. Basically, you can get no head, and then as soon as you want head, you
got
press
the
the button
control.
and you're
Press
in.
the button.
So I wouldn't do it as per instructions. I agree with James.
I thought this was going to be an easy one. Japanese gadge, lovely. Everybody's going to love it. It's going to go well.
Oh, Ebbers, look. Wow, that gadget definitely works.
My head exploded everywhere. We've reviewed beer, frothers, vibrators, sonic wands, and all sorts. And this is another example. What I like about it is the fact that it comes apart, can be washed. This bit, which at first I looked at and went, oh, it's snapped, means that it fits on any can. So it is universal. It's clever. I honestly think this is confusing. Not least because it's not in our language, but the diagrams are confusing.
Also, it helps if the person presenting the gadget to you makes it clear what he wants you to test.
I reckon it's probably 15 quid.
£10, maybe.
Well, the Kinuawa Silky Froth Beer Server is available for purchase at 5,384 yen, which works out at £28.
Nearly twice what I said and a bit more than yours.
I don't think I'd buy it at that price, but I don't know if I'm the right target market for it.
We all have a preference on how we like our beer. We don't aim for that kind of ratio, but if you did, you can do it by hand, and then you have to drink quickly. If you want to do it by hand and
Such a British answer.
have it last longer, you will need something like this. There are other cheaper versions on the market.
Now we're all friends again. Do you want to lift the glass?
Look, if you can't sometimes have a heated discussion over a pint,
Yeah.
then you're not even friends.
That's true.
Exactly, that's it. That's why you tune in, because of authenticity.
Right, let's lift the cloche. Okay, it's got a serrated blade.
We've got a spring-loaded
A spring-loaded
something.
pressure point, and I think something to slice. So again, I reckon it's
Yeah.
going to slice.
So are you going to put something in there like that?
Yeah, that I would
So you're going to take that
guess
out, you're going to put something in.
is
That holds it in place.
Carrot, a radish, a mooli in piece that big. Surely they're too big.
Pickled ginger or something?
Pickled ginger maybe for slices. Oh, that's a good shout.
Chefs, this is the Akebono Kirimochi slicer. Kirimochi is a Japanese mochi rice cake that's been dried to become shelf stable, typically used to add to soups, to bake, fry, or toast.
So I don't think I remember having this in Japan, but something very similar in China, where they make a rice dough paste that becomes slices that gets cooked into things. Shelf-stable rice squares that you then cook, and presumably they swell.
So this will slice that into thin sheets. We're going to then boil those and add them to a mushroom broth.
And it becomes like a kind of gelatinous, chewy thing.
Chewy rice
that-
noodle
that
thing,
is in the
but not
broth.
noodle shape.
Yeah. So when I saw this, I instantly thought, oh, mochi, as in the
Yeah.
rice around ice cream. This is also rice flour, just solidified.
But your mochi being
The rice paste,
Yeah.
basically. So you're using the 2
That's the
millimeter
2 mil.
attachment. You also have a 1 mil attachment.
Let's do 5 of these and 5 of the, and 10 of the other one.
Wee chef.
So the process of making kirimochi is taking rice, soaking it, steaming it, and then you pound it before shaping it into those size blocks, and then they're dried. How are you finding it, guys? Are you enjoying it? Are you having fun?
I don't know if it's a fun gadget.
Hold that thought.
I think it's a very functional gadget.
Shall we make it?
Let's make it.
Let's get rid of the schnul and make this fun. Because
what?
obviously it's Japanese, so it comes with animal cutters.
No, it doesn't.
So James, what have you gone for?
Squid. Oh, I love it so much. Wait, I want to do it on one of these.
So you've got a variety of animals there, everything from a hedgehog to a squid.
The 2 mil is much easier to work with.
Yeah, I would say the 1 mil is doing the same as it did on
That's
yours.
amazing.
Makes it very uneven, James.
You've prepared a lot of kirimochi in a variety of thicknesses and shapes. Would you now like to cook some and eat it in situ?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Right, well, pop them into your simmering water. You're going to simmer those for 2 to 4 minutes. And then we have a delicious broth and mushroom noodle dish for you to enjoy them in.
I want to try cooking them a little bit less, so I've got a 1 minute timer on.
Smells good. They have held their shape better than I thought they would, actually, because there's some pretty intricate lines in these stencils for something that is just a chewy, gelatinous, ricey thing.
So the one that I cooked for a minute was very soft and gelatinous, but it kind of had a raw rice flour taste, whereas these didn't. So it's kind of similar texture, but it felt like the flour hadn't cooked out. That's what it tasted like. They definitely give different textures. I think they work together.
Okay, so having played with it and now tasted them once cooked, how was the gadget and how was exploring kirimochi?
It's kind of a fun gadget. I think it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think it's cool.
Like with a lot of Japanese food, mochi is a great example, obviously. Oden, the soup and broth with lots of gelatinous elements, it's all about texture. They don't have any flavour, it's all about texture, and then you put it in a delicious broth. As a gadget, it worked, but not brilliantly. And I think the only thing that let it down was the uneven pressure that the spring applies, which means you get wedges rather than an even cut.
But the actual product and the creation is really nice. As soon as I put it in that broth, I picked one out to eat it, and it had instantly like absorbed all that flavour from the broth, like within seconds. So it's a really nice little like nugget of flavour.
Would you like to guess how much we paid for the kirimochi slicer?
£20?
A fraction more at 24.
James, pretty much bang on. 3,784 yen. 1968.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
That was fun.
It's good.
That was fun, yeah.
I would love to see perhaps a more professional version in action, because I imagine, given the stencils and the shapes, this is a more family-friendly version.
Especially when you look at the box it came in.
Yeah.
I love it.
And for that reason, I sense there are probably ones out there that have a better spring mechanism that allow you to cut more evenly. Another ingredient we've never played with before.
Would you like to learn some more?
Yes.
Got another one?
Got another one. Got a final one. Okay, chefs, your final Japanese gadget. Part of it is under the cloche, most of it isn't. Lift.
This looks exciting.
I like it.
Yeah.
So a relatively even electrical hot bit, and then essentially a plancher, right?
Yes, plancher, yeah.
Boys, this is the Balmuda Plate Pro teppanyaki grill. So previously in an episode where we reviewed Japanese gadgets, we did a yakiniku grill, which was more of a barbecue meat grilling. These are prevalent in social cooking, but also bigger versions in restaurants in Japan for cooking things like okonomiyaki.
Oh, I got a
We
double
actually gonna
whammy.
pick that.
Because what I've also seen, and it's not just restaurants in Japan, obviously Japanese restaurants all over the world, but you go to a teppanyaki grill and it's like theatre. They're juggling the eggs for sort of almost like a fried egg natured.
It's like Turkish ice cream, but with eggs and
Yeah.
Japanese
Also,
food.
you go for okonomiyaki and it's not theatre, but you're still sitting around the bar
Yeah.
watching someone cook it, and it is entertaining
Yeah.
to watch somebody cook that.
So would you like to knock up a couple to test it, but then we're basically going to make a batter enough to feed the entire building, because we're all going to have okonomiyaki tonight.
Okay.
Excellent.
This teppanyaki grill has a plate with a thickness of 6.6 millimeters, which should ensure high heat capacity and excellent heat conductivity. It also comes with your sort of scraper, so you can get the proper scrapey, flippy, everything that you need.
Right, let's start with the batter. So wet into dry.
And to try it.
So you have an okonomiyaki flour, which are 3 different varieties of flour. Flavorings like soy sauce powder, seasonings. So again, excited to eat this because I've only ever used normal flour or plain flour.
I like the choice of fillings we've got. So we've got some fatty cured bacon, cabbage is always the classic, spring onions, some pickled ginger. But I also remember having this in Hiroshima, and seafood's the key. So sometimes oysters, and it's like a surf and turf, so like oysters and pork products on the grill. What I already like about your description, Mike, was the thickness of the grill, because it means in theory you're going to get an even cooking and an even heat. I've made this 2 different ways before. One is where you put all the filling in and combine it all, and one where you do a pancake and then you start to layer and stack and flip, and that's where I've always seen it done out and about, but the cheats version is mixing everything together.
Or just fry the bacon and then put the cabbage mix on top of the bacon.
Oh, lovely.
You want to do that, don't you? You're worried about that.
I'm worried about how thin this is to do the pancake version now, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put this into the cabbage.
How do we feel about using some of our bonito powder in the batter?
I like the fishy idea.
You need a little bit of fish flavour. I think this is good.
What I'm going to do is line some bacon up, and then you just make a round around that.
Oh, okay.
This is the best dish ever.
Ready, one more, James?
Yeah.
The key always is temperature control, so that you've got the ability to start to cook and soften the cabbage before you've browned and crisped up the bottom.
Come on, Ebbers.
I'll be honest, he says, getting his caveats in early, it's a bit wider than the spatula. So I
That
think
shouldn't
when
be
I
a
go,
problem. That shouldn't be an issue. Hey!
Look at that. Lovely
not
colour.
bad.
Kind of looks like what it's supposed to look like.
It's all about confidence in the flip.
Oh, this guy.
Beautiful.
Oh, James, well done.
We'll cook it all the way through to make sure the cabbage really softens. It's tempting to turn it up and get a deeper colour, but you want to do it slow and gentle to cook the cabbage through, and all the raw flour and all the egg without too much attack.
Do you know, I think the criticism I would give to both of these is that we're kind of like neatening them a lot. And I think that's not something that would happen.
Straggly bits are okay.
If you know how to make
what you're
okonomiyaki.
doing,
Like
yeah.
the straggly bits are the good bits, they're going to become crispy and delicious.
Pickled ginger. Is that furikake, Ebbers?
Furikake, and we'll finish with some katsuobushi to dance on top.
Well done, chefs.
It is everything I love about food. Social, sharing, and packed full of actually quite a balanced meal. There's loads of veg in there. And it's got that texture on top, a slight like bounce and chew in the middle, a bit like takoyaki, dough in the middle of like the octopus balls.
It's just perfect. It's so good and so simple. What do you think of that teppanyaki grill? And maybe give me an estimate of how much you think I paid for it.
I think it's really solid. It seems like a good piece of kit. I don't know, but I think it'll get better over time.
Probably.
The more you cook on it, you season it over and over again.
And
it's,
your own
it's
technique
probably
gets
that kind of
better.
thing, yeah.
It's probably not cheap, but I love it. I reckon it's probably 250 quid though.
I was going to say 200.
Would you think it was good value if it was 54,036 yen?
Again, doing the maths in my head.
I don't know.
Far too slowly.
£281.
It's about what
I mean,
I
that's
said.
not much more than yours, yeah. Pretty expensive.
But pretty damn good. It's better than the beer gadget, and yet what I'm missing with this okonomiyaki is a beer.
This is true. That would be brilliant with a beer.
Let me get you a beer and the gadget. Meanwhile, in the comments, let us know, how did you find that? Which of those gadgets interested you most, and which Japanese gadgets should we be exploring next time? Also, if you enjoyed this and you'd like us to make more, give us a like. Thanks, boys.
Great
Thank
job.
you.
Wonderful
Loved
work.
it.